Hey guys, we're back on the 77 F-150 with the LS3 with the Whipple, doing some testing and tuning rotability tests, and with it being 108, 110 degrees here in Phoenix, the two SPAL fans weren't keeping up, so we took those out and installed a Vintage Air brushless 850 watt brushless fan, and then we're going to install the fan controller. It's I believe a 1/4 inch pipe, but we have the ICT adapter to go to the machine metric threads that are in the back of the LS head. You have to be quick hands so we don't lose too much coolant and make a mess. I've already cracked that plug loose. It's a 6mm Allen head. Thread this out. Do the old finger on the pole trick and get it switched out. Wasn't too bad. Get finger tight. We'll snug it up with our 7/8 wrench. It's got a seal crush washer on here. Normally we have a Holley Terminator controlling the fans, but this fan has its own controller. Since it's brushless, there's no set CFM. The hotter it gets, the faster it'll spin. So it's set up for a 180 thermostat. It'll slowly pulse on the fan, so there's no crazy amp draw, and then it'll just start winding up. We have a trinary AC switch on here, so as soon as you turn the AC on, even if it's not up to operating temperature, it'll kick the fan on high. So then you immediately have cool AC and don't have to wait for the head pressure and the AC compressor to kick the fan switch on and off. Nice and snug, not too tight. And that's it. Let's say we lost, I don't know, less than half an ounce. And then I'll get you guys set up so you can see me undoing the old fan relays and trigger wires to wiring in this other controller and the fan cables, and then I'll give you an inside shot of how big this fan is. Originally we were going to order one for it, but they don't make one for this particular radiator, so we chanced it with the two fans. Wasn't enough, so then we just got a universal one and adapted it to the fan shroud that we got with the Champion radiator, so everything works. That kind of as a rule of thumb from now on through us, all these are going to get brushless fans no matter what. Alright, we got the controller installed in the head. Now we're going to wire in the controller, put the pigtail up. First, we're going to undo the old dual fan wiring fuses and relays. You'll have to excuse my shiny sweatiness. It's 105 in here. At least we're in the shade, but it's still hot. Got a new wireless microphone coming, so you should be able to hear me better in future videos. But right now, you'll probably hear the roaring sounds of the two fans blowing at my feet to circulate some air. So I'll try and talk loudly without seeming like I'm yelling. Unmounting relays off the core support. Oh, should I If you're opening up an old or new wire loom and you don't want to cut wires and stuff with side cutters, good old-fashioned seam ripper, find the seam of your split loom, and just chase that tape all the way down. We're doing this. That's a good thing about using a seam ripper. Doesn't cut your wires like you would if you're pushing hard with a razor blade. But you occasionally poke yourself. So we're undoing the two 12-volt power wires that went to the old trigger fan relays, and then we're also undoing the two grounds that went to the relays. I'm a fan of taking everything positive to negative back to the battery or post connections instead of relying on chassis grounds and body grounds. To me it seems like you have less confusion and everything works more proper when it's direct contact with the battery or cables. This truck got a Holley Dominator. In the instructions it says specifically to use double aught battery cable. Anything less you can get interference or voltage drops. So we use what they recommend. So we got a 2-aught ground and 2-aught charge cable from the alternator. And this has a 210 amp 1-wire alternator. I believe it's Power Master. Now we got all that. Pull out our old 2 power cables with relays. And then we have our grounds over to the relays. We could have just snipped them and left them in, but for future use. But if we never use them, it'd just be trash inside the harness. So I'm always a fan of keeping everything nice and tight. Got 2 relay fans off, so now we got our fan controller that we're going to mock up. Plug this in. Well, we've had it before. After the end, we're just going to leave it a little loose. Run along through our other wiring, bring this back up here. Make it look like it wasn't an afterthought. So I don't ever use the loom that came with any of these controllers just because they are, I mean they're black, but I don't think they're high temp. I use the high temp from Del City. It's got the white stripes on it that indicates high temp, so it handles up to like 500-600 degrees in the engine bay compartment, so it just doesn't melt everything. So we'll mock everything up and then we'll remove everything, tape the harness, loom it, and then tape over it again just to make sure that it's extra protected. Good old instructions. So red is going to be our Keon. I got a Keon terminal here that we're bootleg off of the fuse blocks. I just don't put a fuse in it, so everything that requires a Keon that turns on all the relays is going to come into here. So it'll be fine because to turn on relays, they milliamps turn them on, so there's no voltage drop there. White's going to go to the fan, red goes to Keon, blue is going to go to our trinary switch, and then black is going to go to our ground, but we're going to go to our battery ground. Here. Controller wires mocked up and ran. Unclip the controller. Pull all this out. Then we are going to de-loom the loom that came with. We're going to do our tape, our high temp loom, and tape over again. Then we'll install it and I'll set you up so you can see inside how everything looks. Probably time lapse some of this just so you don't just stand there and watch me loom. This is what I mean by high heat. I don't know if you can see in the camera, but it's got white stripes on it, and the rest is black. The white stripes indicate high heat. Alright, putting on our new loomed up control wire. You can go ahead and make these connections since the batteries are disconnected. Now we got two spare fuse holders. Because the brushless fan comes with its own, I believe, 175 amp fuse. Because it moves some air. We'll reuse the loom that I previously had on it, but we will retape the outside since these are already cut the length. Again, these are the black loom with the white stripes on it, indicating that it's good for heat. Alright, now fan control wiring's all in, hooked up, loomed up, trinary switch is all wired in. We'll switch places and then we will hook up our fan power cables to the battery. It's got a giant plug that goes into the fan. Here's the other end of our white trigger wire that we're gonna make a connection to. And then it gives you all kinds of extra battery, and then we have to make our own fusible link. So I'll get switched around. So this is how big this brushless fan is. It's 19 inches across, and like I said, it's 850 watts. So we put that in because the two Spall fans with the shroud that comes in was not enough to keep it cool. We were driving down the road and we were getting up to 215, 218 degrees without the AC on. We have a huge intercooler and AC condenser in here. The intercooler system holds 8 gallons of coolant to try to keep the intake temperatures down. So we'll start it up, turn the AC on, and we'll show you how much this thing sucks. Got it fired up. Cooler temperature is 103. First time it's been started today. So we'll let it get warmed up. We'll cycle the fan on and off, but we'll show you that even though the fan's not on with that trinary switch, we turn it on high, that AC compressor is going to kick on, and that trinary switch is going to turn the fan on.